Hello, everybody, and welcome to Athletic Definition. My name is Coach Ray Z, and welcome to this month-long tribute to women in history. Yesterday, if you joined me, I talked about women in sports, and I just kind of gave like a brief kind of little. There's so much information, so much detail that you can go into. So I just kind of gave like a general idea of some of the struggles and adversity that women have had to go through. And I talked a little bit about Title IX. And one of my audience member, Isidro, he came up and he started talking about women actually as not athletes, women as like CEOs and also coaches and referees and in the corporate world, like Jeannie Buss. And that made me think about, there's so much more that I didn't even kind of think about it. And today I was hoping to have a guest, but I have female guests coming next week and the week after and for the whole month. And this article popped up and I thought, oh, well, what a great idea for me to talk about. Yesterday was women in sports, so today will be women in fitness. So this article is about, and this is my assistant, Jamie iPad. And Jamie iPad, this is Suzanne Sommer, which is basically, she was known as Susie from Three's Company, Suzanne Summers. And she made nearly $300 million from the Thigh Master alone. I believe there was the Butt Master and DVDs and a bunch of other different variations of it. So I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me do a little research. As you guys know, I love to go down the rabbit hole and just looking into information. And I was looking into, let's see how far because a lot of the media was basically controlled, and they control what goes on air, they control what commercials, they control who becomes stars, who becomes celebrities, who gets airtime, who becomes movie stars, and all that. And they try and tell us what we want to hear. Now that the internet is here, it basically gave the audience the power to decide what you want to watch, what you want to listen to. And so what I did was I went down the rabbit hole and I looked up top influencers, fitness influencers, and I didn't type in male or female. I just typed in influencers, and I did it on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and then just like that. And then I looked into podcasts. So I'll be going over all of them. Make sure you stay tuned for that. So let me get started with, and first of all, Suzanne Summers. Wow, congratulations. I had no idea she made that much money off a fitness product. And it just makes me think I need to start developing my fitness product. That seems to be where it's at. So this one is from a website called influencermarketinghub.com. And this one, let me see if I remember. This one is just, hold on. I think this one, this is YouTube. So I looked up the top influencers on YouTube, and out of the top 10, 8 of them are females. So congratulations. Yeah. I was actually looking for the applause. Let's see here. I haven't played with these buttons in a while. So it's not that one either. There we go. All right. So 8 females out of the 10 top influencers on YouTube. I'm not going to say their names because they have millions and millions of followers, and they don't really need me giving them publicity. In fact, they should be giving me publicity. Now, actually, there's only one guy, male, in YouTube, and then he's ranked number 7. And then number 3, this is actually half husband and wife team. So in a way, you could say that the females are, as far as fitness influencers, and this is, I believe this is going by subscribers and views. So there's 8 females, and really, if you count the one that's husband and wife, there's really 9 females in YouTube that are the top 10 influencers. So then I said, well, let's look at TikTok and let's see how many female influencers there are on top versus males. And out of the, and this one I looked at, I use the same website for this one as well. So if you want to look it up, it's influencermarketinghub.com. And this one, out of the top 10 influencers in TikTok, 5 out of 5 5 out of 10 are women. And let's see here. This one is pretty well even. I would say the first one is female, then male, male, female, female, male, 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 female, female. So that's a pretty. It's even, and I would say that's pretty much the only one that's a draw. Everything else, I'm going to say that the women have blown out the men, except for one more, which I'll mention that as well. So this one, I got it off Media Kit, and it's KIX.com if you want to look it up. And this is the top fitness influencers on IG. So on IG, the top 10 influencers, 9 out of 10 are female. So congratulations to the females once again. Yes. And so there's only one male out of all the fitness influencers. So it kind of goes to show you what I was talking about earlier is if the media basically controlled, before cable and everything, there was only so many channels. They got to control who's influencers, who's not. Now that we have all these apps and YouTube and things like that, it's really let the market decide, and the market is deciding that the top influencers are females. So far in TikTok, it's a draw. There's 5 out of 5, male and female, that are influencers. In YouTube, there's 8 female influencers in the top 10. And actually, there's 9 because one is like co-hosted with her husband. And so then I decided to look up the next one. I got it off smallbusinesstrends.com. And this is just the top fitness influencers of all. And this is not really stating where they got this from, if it's from TikTok or Instagram, but 9 out of the 10 are females. And let's see here. Number 2 is a male, and the rest are all female. So congratulations once again. The market is deciding what they want to see, and it's probably because of what they're putting out. So, because it's Women's History Month, I just kept researching, and so far it seems like pretty much the females are dominating as far as fitness influencers and everything except for podcasting. Now, when it came to podcasting, let me go to that page here. When it came to podcasting, it's a different story. There's the top 5 are all male in podcasting. In fact, the first woman doesn't crack until the number 6. And she is a doctor. And then number 8, turns out I know who this person is, so I'm going to reach out to her. And then number 9, I couldn't figure out. That one's called the 20-minute fitness podcast, and I couldn't tell who it's done by. It's a short little podcast, but I didn't have time to see if it's a male or female. And then there is a rounding out the top 10 is another podcast by a female. So in the podcasting, there's more males that are in the top 10. But as you a lot of these go like the top 100 fitness influencers. So as you start going a little bit more down, they're up and coming. So I just thought that was fascinating. And thank you for those of you joining me. I got this idea because yesterday I did women in sports, and I talked about some of the adversities that they've gone through, how far they've come, how it just seems like it was yesterday. Some of the things like the World Cup is just like 1991. I'm a big marathoner. So the first time a woman got to run a marathon, how she was attacked by the race director, and she basically they wouldn't even let women register. So they've come a long way, and yet at the same time, it seems like there's so much more to do. And, I'm like Kobe Bryant said, I'm a girl dad. I have a daughter, I have a mom, and I have sisters. And to me, equality is important. I want them to be able to get, the the fairness and just be treated equally. And it doesn't matter if it's in sports or, as one of my guests mentioned yesterday, you start going into coaching, you start going into administration, you start going into who's running, the teams. Like I can remember she passed away, the Rams owner, female, when they won their championships in St. Louis, Jeannie Buss from the Lakers. And then today I saw the article about Suzanne Summers, how she made over $300 million on the AB. What was it called? Let me see here. I think it was called the AB. Oh, the Thigh Master. And she said they stopped counting after they sold over 10 million. So that must be nice. And I thought, I try to look into that, but that gets more complicated because you could have an influencer representing the company, but that doesn't mean that they have any stake or they're actually the people that produce the product. So that doesn't necessarily mean they're the ones benefiting the major profit, because if you're selling a product, from what I read, it was her and her husband and they went 50-50. So she's made the most money out of fitness, more than her acting. Also, she wrote 27 fitness books. And so then that's what just kind of prompted this idea. Because for this whole month, I've been working on just getting all female guests. I always try to have a balanced show, but it's so difficult with people's schedule. But I am excited to let you know that next week I will be having guests. I will be having Anel Hernandez, who is a Boston marathoner, mom. She qualified for Boston and completed Boston Marathon, which is like the Super Bowl for runners as far as marathoning. And then she had kids, and now she is working to get herself back. She was always fast. That's what I remember about her, and I haven't had a chance to talk to her for a while, so it'll be great catching up. I will also be having Erin, Brutal Viking. She came from a competitive swimming in college, and then she went into jiu-jitsu, and she is now a purple belt, who's always just kicking butt in all these competitions. And I haven't had a chance to talk to her for a while, so this show's kind of great in that way. I get to catch up with some of my friends and keep inviting them to the platform. I also have Meg. And Meg is from Hong Kong, and she is a runner, and she's coming up on the show as well. She, former lawyer who walked away from being a lawyer, got cancer and survived cancer. And we actually did a show previously, but I had just gotten this microphone and I blew the audio quality. So really, it is her returning. But it's such a great story. And when I learned about, the running scene and just the views in Hong Kong, if you go to Athletic Definition Instagram, you can see on the stories. I put a picture of her running up a mountain with a beautiful ocean background. And once I realized, I just thought of Hong Kong as a bunch of like city. I didn't really think of it as having mountains. So, and she just has a great story about, coming over adversity and staying healthy, through everything. Actually, it took me a while to get her on because she was still fighting chemo. So that'll be good. I'm also working on some boxers, some yoga people, just waiting on confirmations. And I'm also waiting on, her name is Shangri-La. She is a multiple Guinness World Record holder. She is probably the first person I met. You always read articles and see things on the internet, but she is the first person that I met that was just like doing insane things. She did I think she did if you don't know what an Ironman is, you run a marathon, I think you bike like over 100 miles, and then you also have to swim. So she did I think I know she did 7 Ironman in 7 days, which to me is insane. And she was the first person who I met that did that. And she just blew me away with, what she did physically. So I've known her for years as well. She's busy. She has her own podcast as well. And she is also a coach. So I'm looking forward to having her on. I'm looking forward to having all these inspirational women on. And it's probably going to carry on to the next month because I reached out to so many of them that I know by the time everybody gets back, I got like 4 days open left in this month. So I'll be carrying over till next month. I'm looking to have a professional golfer on as well. And some people, when people pay for advertisement on Instagram, I take everything as a sign. People that I meet in real person, people that I meet online, people that reach out to me. And even when the commercials come out, I'm like, this commercial came out for a reason. Let me reach out to this person. Some people get back to me right away. Some people don't. I understand we all have lives, but I'm looking forward to be able to, just help you share your story. And some of these people don't need help because they're really, really large influencers, but everybody has their own audience, and I would love to bring them on so my audience can hear you. When you think about it, Mr. Beast on YouTube has almost 100 million followers, and a lot of people don't even know who that is. So it just goes to show you how big this world is, and how really you shouldn't let anything get to your head. You could be 100 million followers. I think they broke that down to that's like almost half the world like subscribe to him, and yet I talk to people all the time. Oh yeah, Mr. Beast, who's that? So I'm looking forward to having these people on, and I hope you enjoyed the little statistics that I went over. It looks like based on all the influencing that I looked at, fitness influencers, the females have definitely come up a long way. And as I mentioned, I feel it has to do with the internet, because now it lets people decide. You could tune in, you could not tune in, you decide what you like, what you don't like. And of course, we don't control the algorithms. So that is something different. People could get bots, but in general, I think it's because people are deciding what content they want to watch, and people are putting out valuable content. And they, a lot of them I know, and a lot of them I don't know. And some of them have millions and millions of followers. It's just, there's so many people out there. There's no way to know everybody. What I did find a little strange is that I would think that if you're really well known on TikTok, you would be really well known on Instagram or on YouTube. And it's not all the same influencers on each platform. On YouTube, I saw maybe 2 that I saw on TikTok, and on Instagram, I saw 1. So it goes to show you that there's plenty of platforms, plenty of audiences where if you're known on one, doesn't mean you're known on the other. And, that's okay. That it doesn't make you any better or any worse. It's just interesting how you would think, oh yeah, this person, like The Rock is pretty much well known any platform he goes to. So that's what I was thinking. But when it comes to fitness, it's a different game. But congratulations to Suzanne Somers, nearly $300 million. That is something I would love to do as far as coming up with and any product. I've mentioned this before because I've had offers of people telling me, hey, sell this product and we'll give you this much a month and then we'll give you commission. But I didn't, and I don't believe in their product, so I can't do it. And so anything that I do come up with, maybe some invention, whatever it is, any fitness product, it's because I use it. Anything that I promote, it's because I use it. I walked away from banking, treasury management, month vacation, good money to do what I love. So to me, it's not about the money. Who knows? Maybe when someone comes at me with $1 million, but overall, it's like, to me, it's not about the money. To me, I think about, I've reached I'm at 52 countries now. And I think some of these countries I have to look up. I'm not even sure where they're at, but I think that is so cool. Even if one person listened to it and it changed their mind or helped them start working out. To me, like when it's all said and done and I'm buried in the dirt, it's not going to be about the money that I made. It's going to be about the impact that I left or that I want to leave and the influence that I want to leave. Growing up, I was a knucklehead. I could be remembered for a lot of things that I wouldn't want to be remembered for. And I'm proud that if I were to pass people like, oh, the runner, oh, the jujitsu guy, oh, the guy who was always into fitness, I would rather be known for that than anything else. So to me, it's about impact. It's not about the money, because trust me, it's not like I live in Los Angeles. You know how expensive it is. Gas is over $5 a gallon, and it was creeping even before this whole thing with Ukraine being invaded. So the gas was already at $4 and something. Cost of living so much with inflation prior to this. So it's not like I can't use the money. Let's see, my car got they stole the Cadillac converter from my car, and since then I've been carless because I walked away from a job, and coaching, it makes me some money, but not great money. I'm not like a big influencer, so it's not like I couldn't use the money or don't want to use the money, but I'd rather just stick to my guns and do what I believe and just basically sell out for a couple $100. To me, it's not worth it. As I mentioned, I'm a girl dad. To me, the legacy that I leave behind for her and for my son and for my nephews and everybody else, I'd rather, there's so much negativity that I want to go the opposite way. And yeah, it's not going to be easier because that, like, for example, a lot of the algorithms are meant to push out negativity. So that means that I'm going to, not get the views. Like I have, let's see, over 1,100 followers on Instagram, and the reach that I get is worse and worse and worse each day on the stories. They just don't want to push it out. I know a lot of it has to do with that. I mentioned Fireside, and they don't want people like leaving their platform, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to inspire people, motivate people. If it's not me, it's the story of my guest. And I have a lot of inspirational guests. As I mentioned, since the beginning, my idea was to bring on male, female, male, female, male, female. And of course, in 2022, there's other pronouns and genders. So I've invited and reached out to people, but I was trying to do a balance with scheduling and everything else. I realized that's kind of impossible. So now I'm just kind of taking availability, but I do keep in mind, and I do look back to like, it looks like I've had maybe like 2 males in a row or 2 males in 3 weeks. I want to bring in a female perspective. I'm a runner. I've run over 50 marathons, but there's certain things that, I've asked, but really I can't answer like a female. Like, you lose your toenails, for example, when you're running marathons. A female perspective could answer better. What do you do to prevent that from happening? What do you do if it does fall off? What do you do if you start running on your period? What do you do if you're running when you're pregnant? Which there's a couple females that I invited that just actually, one of them just ran the Chicago Marathon in her early stage of pregnancy. So I invited her on, looking forward to having her on, and just different things like that, that the female perspective that I can't answer. And if my show can be somewhere where someone could tune in and get the answer, maybe you were hesitating to start working out or start running, and the guest that you heard provided you what you needed. Or not everybody that I bring on is what you would consider, or what society would consider, oh, that person's fit. Everybody's so judgmental. They expect everyone to have a six pack. They expect everybody to be ripped. And, that's part of the problem. I'm not like a juiced out. I'm not on steroids. So Instagram won't be pushing me out like that. But, thanks to platforms like Fireside is not like holding back as far as like trying to keep me oppressed as far as the algorithm. So thank you for Fireside and a platform like this where it'll give me a chance to bring on people that, as much as I believe in, I know that there's a lot of people that work out what I'm trying to say and watch what they eat, but there's still not going to be that figure that we all have been pushed down our throats by the media. Like, you have to look this way. You have to be this way. If I didn't get, I see a lot of phonies out there as well. And, I've said it, you can go down my Instagram the last 10, 15 years, maybe the beginning, and you're going to see that I've been posting about fitness, doing fitness all that time. And before, I really didn't care about, and maybe it's my fault, I didn't care about followers. I never, oh, what's your Instagram? What's your Facebook? Let's be friends. I didn't really care about that up until, I would say, the last year. I realized, in modern society, Instagram is your new business card. It's not a business card. Like, if you give a business card to someone, I think most people will throw it away. If you leave a flyer in their car. So as a society, especially now with what's going on, audio, podcasting, it's the future. I could go and try and sell things, but what for? Like, if I don't have an audience, if I don't have, like, so many people have so many good ideas and they don't have an audience. So you come up with a good idea and then you give up on your dream because it's not selling the way you thought it would sell, but it's still a good idea. So then you need a platform, someone that has a following. I'm not saying necessarily it has to be millions of millions, but if I could help someone out that struggled the way I did, even though I'm like a legit, coach, I have certifications, and yet, people always want what they see, the shiny, bright object. Yeah, I used to do real estate, and when I did real estate, banking and all that. So when I did real estate, it was during the whole mortgage boom, the whole refinance boom. And I would come with honesty and I would tell people, I can get you this rate. And of course, they wouldn't want to do business with me because everybody else was doing shady shit. So what would you rather do? Pay a higher interest rate, or pay a higher interest rate, but it's legitimate and it's based on your credit? Or would you rather pay less, which majority of people, that's why I'm not in real estate, because at the time everybody was just going with the crooked. And did that help overall society? It just caused the bubble to burst. But I understand you want to save money, and now Instagram's kind of like that. Like, unless you show something fancy that the average person, who in the United States, majority of people are obese, you just can't start off and start doing all these crazy movements when a lot of people can't even touch your toes. And pretty much every sport, every discipline, every martial art, it's the basics, the basics, the basics, the basics. And you could win so many sports and games just by doing the basics, not the fancy stuff, just the basics. It's really hard to win something like, with fancy things, but the basics will get you there. And that's what people don't want to practice. And that's what I'm encouraging. Start. We also have this mentality here that no pain, no gain. And I'm trying to go against that. I'm trying to say that's not correct. You shouldn't have to work out in pain. You're not supposed to work out in pain. There's other exercises that you can take a step backwards, regress, get that part strong, and then go do that exercise. But when you see Instagram and you see the influencers just doing all these fancy things, I understand. Would you rather watch them or would you rather watch me? So I hear this so much, and I hear it from people that are not marathoners. They say podcasting, or they'll use this terminology all the time. Podcasting is a marathon, not a sprint. Yet none of them have ever run a marathon. So I don't think the podcasting world is ready for an actual. There is a couple like Rich Roll, which is one of the top podcasts, but Rich Roll doesn't do jiu-jitsu or play basketball. So the podcasting world isn't ready for me. I don't care. It's going to take time. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to stop doing this. I realize that I really enjoy this. If I have to get another job and do other things, I'm not going to give this up. Like I said, LA's tough. My car got stolen, and I've been carless for a while because I have to make a decision whether I buy another car or do I use that money to survive and keep going and feeding myself and paying my rent. But in the long run, I'm happy with what I'm doing. If I were to die and just, sell out and start taking those offers that I get where they're giving me money, but I don't believe in the product, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be happy with who I am. I'm not going to be happy with the real message. And I'm not, in my opinion, going to be a good father figure. It's so easy to do it the wrong way. That's why I left, doing the real estate thing. When I worked in the bank, I don't want to mention what bank, but there was a documentary on it on Netflix called Dirty Money. And they were all over the news. And I just couldn't feel right every day. Pushing products that I didn't believe in, that really weren't saving the customer money, that really weren't helping them. All it was doing was, helping the corporation make more money. So I hope this kind of gives you a little idea of why I'm doing this. And basically, it's not about the money. It's just basically about trying to inspire, motivate people, and yeah, I'm sure if I was talking about some crazy subject, and well, it is Friday night though, but maybe this audience would be packed if I was talking about some clickbaity title, but I'm not, and that's okay. And little by little, I believe that there is room, and I believe that people do want to hear good stories, but when, like, Instagram, for example, doesn't let you get your story out, it's going to be hard to get bigger numbers, but that's okay. I'm, like everybody else says, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And 55 marathons, going to do number 56, 16 consecutive LA Marathon on March 20th. I'm not going anywhere, and you can guarantee that you're going to hear more and more about me. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. Before I close out, I did want to mention that I've mentioned this before, but I am the ambassador for the Orange County Marathon coming up in May. I believe it's on May 4th, but it's that weekend. And if you want to join me, you can use my discount code, which is RayRuns10, and you can get some bling like I did right here. And you can use it for the 5K that with kids run, a half marathon or marathon. And at the end, it ends at the Orange County Fairgrounds. They have a beer garden. They have music, very entertaining. I've done it quite a few years. There's this one particular, I can't remember the street. I've GoPro'd it, so I'm going to be putting it on my YouTube channel, where you're just running and then you see the ocean view. And to me, that's probably like my favorite part of the run. Maybe besides the finish. I love to finish strong, no matter how hurt you are. I love to finish strong. So if you want to join me, be sure to go to the ocmarathon.com, and then you can just type in Ray Runs 10, and you can use it on any race distance. And it'd be great to meet you. Let me know that you use my code, and I love to meet people. My goal is to run 50 marathons in 50 states. I have many goals, but that's one of them. And so as I get more well known, and people, as I know what state I'll be in, hopefully more people can come out and run and tell me, hey, this is my first 5K, or I started running, or I started working out because of you, or because of some guest I had. And as I mentioned, I've brought on like pioneers, Olympians, surfers, jiu-jitsu champions, basketball, yoga, a variety. I could go on and on and on. Me personally, I like to mix it up. At this point in my life, I'm not going to be a professional, so I love to just work out in many different things. It keeps me from being bored. This is really just for health. It's not like, unless I'm training for something specific, then I'll do specific training. But I think a lot of people, get bored and then they stop working out. So, when you, like, for example, when I played basketball, I go play basketball with my son and his friends. To me, that's not a workout. To me, that's having fun. It's enjoying family time. So if people can find something that they enjoy, that they don't actually consider a workout, then that'll help you keep doing it and keep doing it longer. And then you just won't want to give up. There's many free running groups, things that you don't have to pay for. To me, that's not working out. It's like, it's a time for me to to go and see people I haven't seen in a long time, especially now with COVID. And really, if I had a car, wow, I'd be getting around a lot more. Everything I do is either walk or take the bus or take the train. But it won't be like this forever. But for now, that's just the way life is. And so, to anyone listening in, if your life is not perfect or the way you don't want it to be, that's okay. It's just part of life. It can't always be perfect. And what I recommend is focus on solutions. Don't think about the negativity. Don't think about, oh, why I don't have this, why that. Think about, this happened to me for a reason. There's a reason for this happening to me. It's for me to better myself. It's, even if you get some diagnosis from a doctor you may not want to hear. I'm a huge Eric Thomas fan, and he was just talking about yesterday how the doctor told his wife she wouldn't like live or wouldn't, and that's just the doctor's opinion, or maybe at that point they don't know of any other alternative. And just focus on solutions, because focusing on, oh, I'm stressed out about money, or I'm stressed out about how am I going to make rent, or how am I going to make my car payment, or anything like that, or I put on 5 pounds, or just, that's not going to help. What's going to help is figuring out a way to overcome that obstacle. So focus on solutions. And if you find that difficult, try it for 24 hours out of 1 week. Because, your thoughts will always kind of draw you back to the pressure. And instead of, that's not going to help you. Think about the solution. So thank you, everybody, for joining today. It's been a short show, but next week, the guests will be coming on. And as I mentioned, this whole month is dedicated to Women's History Month, because I grew up in a family with my mom, my dad, 2 sisters. So I didn't have any brothers, and I have a lot of respect for women. And then athletically, I've been beat, and I'm not ashamed of it. I've been beat in basketball by a collegiate player, which was pretty cool. Actually, it was fun. I just met her at a local park, and I invited her to the show. So hopefully she will come on. I've been tapped by girls in jiu-jitsu, and I think, as I mentioned yesterday, one of them's like the world champion now in LFA. And to me, there is no shame in anything. Maybe when I was younger and my ego, and I know some of you might be like, this guy is too calm. He's too quiet. He can't be competitive. When we're playing on the basketball court or doing jiu-jitsu or boxing, I'm a different person. So just don't take this very kind of calm, quiet, David Blaine like personality that I don't like to go out and compete. But I'm not as competitive as I was before, as far as like, because I feel there's bigger things to life, especially after COVID. What happened? Just like, we lost the opportunity to do so many things, and I'm still very, very grateful to be able to do these things again. There was no basketball rims. We couldn't even go and shoot basketball because they took all the rims out of every park. Couldn't do jiu-jitsu because it's such a contact sport. Couldn't do boxing. The only thing I could do was run. And then I'm like, okay, I can handle running and working out at home, and then trails. I love trails. And then so many people went to the trails and they weren't wearing masks and they weren't 6 feet apart, that they closed the trail. So they took that away. So I'm just so grateful to be able to go to the trails, be able to go to jiu-jitsu, be able to do boxing, be able to go around my friends, people that I like to work out with. And that what is, to me, I'm so motivated to get back to normal still. Everything's kind of barely going, and we all thought it would be, I don't know if you guys seen the meme, our first normal summer, and then there's a war breaking out. So I just want world peace. That's what I want. And if I say, practice some sort of martial art, we're learn some discipline, learn some respect for other people, not to judge, because if you ever put on gloves, it doesn't matter how the person looks, they can kick your butt. There's some tough people out there, and you'd be like, oh, this person's weak. So you just have to learn how to respect everybody. One of my favorite memes is skeletons lined up of different people, and it says like black, white, male, female, gay, Jewish, on and on. And in jiu-jitsu, it doesn't matter. It's like, your bones are all going to break the same way. You're going to get choked by the throat. So it'd be nice if people were less judgy and just worry about your physical health more than anything. So thank you for tuning in. My name is Coach Ray Z. This has been Athletic Definition. And join me next week as I have my guest. I know for sure I'll have Anel Hernandez tomorrow, who's a Boston Marathon finisher, mom, and she's looking to climb that mountain back to Boston. And the other one, she will be my Friday guest. Thursday, I'm still working on the confirmation. And then the week after that, I have solid guest, which I mentioned, Brutal Viking, former competitive collegiate swimmer. And then now she's a purple belt champion, kicking butt in all these tournaments. And the week after that, I will be having Meg, former lawyer, cancer survivor, and a runner. So there's more to come, a lot more guests to be announced. So stay tuned. And don't forget, if you want to do the marathon or run with me, be on the lookout. And thank you everybody for joining. Until next week, this has been Coach Ray Z. Oh, one more thing. I have one more show here on Fireside that is co-hosted with my friend Ty, and it is called Drunks. We talk about earning your beer, and we do a beer review. And in the spirit of Women's History Month, we were looking into it, and we're doing a show regarding beer and women and the whole evolution. So that'll be this Monday at a brand new time we're trying out. It'll be at 7 p.m. Pacific time zone. Be sure to join us. I'm not actually sure what beer we'll be reviewing, but we'll be putting it up. So just be sure to follow us on Instagram. And my handle is Coach Ray Z on everything: TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, anything, YouTube. You can find me under that. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you're at. Those of you on the stream, thank you for joining, listening on the replay and the podcast. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. See you next time.